Speaking of occupation, colonialism, and attempted genocide, you're seeing what's going on in Gaza, and it's a lot. It really is. And one thing you may be wondering is, I wonder how neighboring countries are dealing with this. You don't just sit in your apartment while a genocide is going on next door and not do something, right? You're either actively blocking it out and cranking up the TV, or you're getting the broom and hitting the ceiling like, yo, cut that out before I call the UN. Wait, the UN won't do nothing. Just cut that out or I might have to step in. And one of those neighbors to the current genocide taking place in Gaza and the West Bank is Syria. CNN writes, U.S. and coalition forces at mission support site Euphrates in Syria were targeted by a single rocket attack on Wednesday, November 29th, a U.S. official said. The rocket did not hit the base, the official said. There were no injuries or infrastructure damage reported. Wednesday's attack is the first since. It marks at least 74 attacks on U.S. and coalition forces since October 17th, when the first occurred in the wake of Hamas's attack on Israel. Okay, this part actually isn't that complicated. The U.S. funds Israel. Israel occupies Palestine and is currently committing genocide and an ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. Palestine has a strong historical bond to Syria, as they were together under the Phoenicians, subjected to wars and occupations by various empires, and Syria is sitting right next to Israel and recently reported that Israeli airstrikes have been continually hitting their airports in the capital city of Damascus and their airport in Aleppo. So you're in Syria and you're seeing the homies of the people that just airstruck your airport, and now you're wondering, maybe these Americans are in on this too. And maybe they are. Al Jazeera writes, the United States has carried out 2 more airstrikes in Syria against facilities used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its aligned groups. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the precision strikes targeted a training facility near the city of Abu Kamal and a safe house near the city of Mayadeen in response to continued attacks against U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq. Okay, so the U.S. has 900 troops positioned in Syria and 2,500 in neighboring Iraq, and you're wondering why? Well, this goes back to young Biden saying,
there's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
And you can look at it as an overt attack on Syria and maybe look at it as an attack on Iran. Think of it like this. A guy's walking into somebody else's house to address a guest at their table because that guest used to tell that guy to get off their lawn. Now that guy can't approach the guest directly because that would mean war, but that guy can approach the guest when they're at somebody else's house. You're also stopping that guest from amassing weapons, even though you nearly own all of them in the world. You just want to make sure nobody tries to get out of pocket because you're a little bit insecure, even though you got the USS Gerald Ford pulled up outside the club. And hopefully that gives you some context as to what's going on outside of Israel on the border. We're going to get back to that in a little bit.